In this video, we will cover how to add dimensions to our hub section view. So let's go ahead and change from our section layer to our dimension layer. We're going to go to our dimension style, and we're going to make sure we modify. We have some primary units here. Notice we don't have any decimal places, so we'll place it just to 0. And then we also want to make sure, we have our line for our center marks here, and that looks good. So let's go ahead and hit OK, and we'll hit close. So we're going to look at this view first, and let's go ahead and put in our overall size of our part, and then we'll break down each thickness of our cylinders. So our first cylinder was 6 millimeters. We'll repeat our dimension. We can do baseline dimensioning, which means we always start at the same location, or we could also do just each individual part. And again, if we want to do that, we want to make sure they're nice and aligned. And you could give an overall dimension, or you could say, you know, it's really more important to have the height of each one of these. Now notice my 10 is on the inside. I can select it and move it to the outside. But let's go ahead and erase this real quick. Oh, not all of them, just this one. But whichever area or whichever part you click first is where the arrow, or excuse me, the dimension is going to be located. So if I know I need the dimension located on the left, I'm going to select my left side first. Excuse me, my right side first. There we go. And we'll make sure it's aligned there as well. Okay. Or again, if you prefer, you could give an overall measurement or a baseline measurement. So let's go ahead and show you the different techniques. So again, we could go from the same corner over and over again. And notice when we do this, we're actually stacking our dimensions. Some just different ways to actually create the same information. All right, so now let's take a look at our drawing here. Now, when you are dimensioning a cylinder, so it's a solid object, you want to dimension it in the rectangular view. But when we're looking at holes, we want to dimension them in the circular view. So we will start with our holes first here, and we're going to come up and let's do a diameter for our part here. And we're going to have to double click, bring your arrow to the left because we have to put in, there's 8 of these, so 8 times so that we can see that there's 8 of those there. And then we'll go ahead and continue to our diameter for our hole all the way through, which is a diameter of 20. And what we're going to do is go ahead and dimension everything else on the side view here. So we'll take our linear and we're going to go all the way from the top, all the way to the bottom and bring it out. And we're going to go ahead and double click and bring our arrow to the left. We want to go to our symbol because we have to add the diameter symbol here. Let's go ahead and do that a second time for our other cylinder, our second largest cylinder. And same thing, we want to double click, bring do your left arrow to bring it clear to the left and add your diameter symbol. And then one more time, let's go ahead and go up to our measurement for our final cylinder here. Okay. And if you find that you need to adjust your measurements, you can, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. Again, bring the arrow over, add your diameter symbol. Okay. So if you need to make an adjustment, we can. First of all, I think I'm going to adjust the center line to be slightly less because that's a little long tails off our part there. And then if I do that, I also have to do this one as well. And let's make sure we're about the same. And we may have to adjust our scale here then at this point of our line type. So it looks like we're showing a little bit less here. Part looks pretty equal there. We'll make that adjustment now. We'll go up to our line type scale. And again, it's just to keep everything a little bit cleaner. And let's see if that works. Yep, that looks a lot better. And then again, when I look at this, this is nice and embedded. There's a nice bit of room in between. We can actually bring it in a little bit closer, but not too close where you can't see the difference between your measurements. Okay. And last, we also have to put in a circle as a reference to be able to find the center point of each one of these circles here. So we're going to go ahead and do a draw command, and I'm going to change this to a center mark. And we're going to go ahead and do our circle here. Go to the center of those. So again, we're just placing this circle as a reference. And then we'll go back to our dimensions and we'll need to put a diameter on it as well. Okay, and you'll see your center mark is created with your dimension lines. And then we need to go ahead and go through and add a center mark. There is center mark to each one of our circles. And I'm just right clicking to repeat. I don't have to go up to the top every single time. And that is how you fully dimension your part. Now, I would say here how we have our nice large plus to be able to put in this 86 because it's connected to the 86. We can always select this and select explode. And we can actually remove these long lines on this here so that we can show our center line, which is a little bit better to see what the cutting plane is going to look like. Okay, and that is how you dimension your hub.